Hey guys, so today we're working on modeling two-step equations. So a two-step equation is, for example, 2x, hang on, so sorry, I don't know why it's not working. Okay, 2x plus 8 equals 36. Okay, so that's just an example of a two-step equation. So solving them would be finding this value of x. And today we're going to use models to solve these equations, okay? So we're going to model and solve one variable, which means it has an x or some other letter, just one of them, two-step equations. Okay, so first we have vocabulary. So an inverse operation are operations that undo each other. Okay, they're the opposites. So for example, adding and subtracting are inverse operations. Multiplying and dividing are inverse operations. Okay, they undo one another. Okay, and then a zero pair is a whole number and its opposite that cancel each other to equal 0. Okay, so for example, if I give you a banana and I take it away, that's as if I never gave you anything in the first place, right? So a zero pair is if I walk 3 steps forward and then 3 steps backwards, right? And back to where I started. So for example, if I'm here and I go forward 1, 2, 3, and then I go back 1, 2, 3, and back to where I started. So it's like I never even moved. That's what a zero pair is. Okay. An equation is a number sentence with an equal sign. And a variable is a letter that is used to represent a number in an expression or equation. So it's basically a placeholder for a specific number, and it's just holding on to that spot. Now before, we've used substitution and we placed different values in for x to find y, and now we have a y value. So we're looking for that one x value to make this statement true. Okay, so this is an example of a model. So a model is a picture of the equation. So let's go ahead and take a look at the equation that we see here. So we have an equal sign here in the middle. And to the left of it, we have some boxes that say x. So this is how many x's we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10x, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 ones. So since they are positive, they don't say that they're negative, those are going to be positive numbers. So 10x plus 4 equals 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 groups of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 4 times 6 is 24. Or we could count them individually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, so what we need to do to solve for x is we need to get x by itself, okay? So I need to get all of these x's by itself, which means that I need to get rid of whatever else is on this side of the equal sign, okay? So here are 4 positives. So in order to get rid of 4 positives, we're going to use zero pairs. So a zero pair is that a positive and a negative cancel each other out, right? If I take one step forward and one step backwards, I'm at the same spot. So that's canceling each other out. So a positive and a negative make a zero pair. So I'm adding 1, 2, 3, 4 negatives to this side. Now the thing about the equal sign is that if I do something to one side, I have to do it to the other to keep it balanced or to make it fair, right? So if I give one student, let's say, I don't know, 5 pieces of candy, then I would have to give the other student 5 pieces of candy to make it fair, or else you guys would say it's not fair, right? So we have to keep it fair, we have to keep it balanced. So if I add 4 negatives in order to cancel this side, then I have to do the same on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, we're still using our blue and red colored pencils. Our red is going to represent our negatives and our blue will represent our positives, okay? So if I add 4 negatives, right, that's the same as taking 4 away, oopsies, sorry, from both sides, right? So I subtracted 4 from this side and I subtracted 4 from this side. Okay, so 24 minus 4 is 20, right? I just have 20 left, okay? So now on this side over here, I have 10x. And on this side over here, I have 20, okay? So now what I need to do, since x's are over here by themselves, I need to divide up all of these on this side into these x's, okay? So basically what I need to do is I need to separate it into 10 pieces. And so I'm going to say that, okay, I'm going to count to 10 because that's how many I'm separating it into. And so I'm going to see how many times I count to 10. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that was 1 time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That was 2 times. So basically, if I put 1 in each x, and then I put another in each x. So I put 2 into each x. All right, so basically, I divided by the number of x's, right? I divided by 10. 20 divided by 10 is 2. So like these 2 belong in this x. These 2 belong here. So each of these, I'm separating them evenly into their x's. That is how we are modeling these equations. Okay. All right. So that is the model piece. If I go back and I look at just my solving piece, so 10x plus 4 equals 24, okay? So I look at what I had to do first, right? I added the negative 4, so I took the 4 away from each side, right? So that gave me 10x equals 20. And then I went and I divided both sides by the number with x. I divided it by 10, so x was 2. Okay. All right, so I know it's a little difficult with all these arrows and things like that, but we're going to go ahead and keep going and practice, okay? So what are the steps you need in order to solve this problem? So like we said, we wrote the model, 10x plus 4 equals 24. And then our first step is to always add or subtract to get the x by itself. So since it was addition, since it was adding here, we do the opposite. So it had adding, so we subtracted. And then our next step is to divide if we decide if we multiply or divide. Well, right now here it's saying 10 times a number. So it was multiplying here, so we did the opposite and we divided to undo it. All right, so let's write out the steps. Okay, so our step 1 is to write the equation being modeled. Step 2 is to either add or subtract to isolate the variable. So to solve for the unknown, we have to work backwards, okay? So we have to use the inverse operation or the opposite operation, right? So if it's addition, we subtract. If it's multiplication, we divide. So note, we have to be fair. So what we do to one side of the equation, you do to the other. We are keeping the equation balanced. That is what the equal sign means. Our third step is to multiply or divide. To isolate the variable. Okay, so again, we're going to work backwards. So we have to use the inverse operation. And still, again, what we have to be fair. So what we do to one side, you do to the other. All right, so let's look at this next example. So it says an equation is modeled. What value of x makes the equation true? Okay, so first we're going to write our equation. So I have how many x's? There's 2 x's over here. And then there's 1, 2, 3. There's a positive 3. Equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. So my first step is that I need to get rid of whatever is on the same side as x. So I need to get rid of these 3 over here. And since those are positive, I need to make 0 pairs with negatives. So I have 1, 2, 3. And what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So 1, 2, 3. So I have these cancel because those are 0 pairs. And these cancel. So that was like subtracting 3 from each side. Okay, so because of that, now on the left side, I still have 2x. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now I have 8. Okay, so now I'm going to separate these into my x's. So I have 2 x's, so I'm going to count to 2 and see how many times. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So I'm putting 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, into each x. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that was, I divided by 2, and so x equals 4. All right, we're going to keep practicing.